Hello everyone, welcome back to The Last Lap. In today's episode, we're going to be covering everything happening at Darlington this weekend. All three series will be racing at Darlington. Two of them have already started their playoff run, while one is still wrapping up their regular seasons. We're going to talk about everything about that, and we have some news that came out this week as well to share with you guys. But before we hop into it, I just want to remind you guys to hit that subscribe button, that like button. That goes a long way, helps the channel grow, and you can hit that notification bell as well. That notifies you as soon as we upload a video, which is usually every Monday and Friday. But we uploaded another video this week. We uploaded our playoff predictions video on Wednesday. You guys seem to really like it. It got I think we're almost at 50 views on that video, so thank you guys so much for that. And you can also check us out on Instagram at The Last Lap News. We try to post some highlights throughout the week, and any kind of breaking news that happens, we try to post that on Instagram so you guys can see it there. And then we also like to talk about it over here on YouTube. But enough talking from me. I just got to introduce my friend and co-host Matthew. So how you feeling this week about going into the first round of the playoffs?
Well, I've been looking forward to this all season long. It's here. The playoffs is going to start this weekend for the Cup Series. We still got a couple Xfinity regular season Xfinity races left. The trucks have already started, so this is about to get good here for the end of the season.
Yeah, I am pumped up for these playoffs. The Truck Series already got one race underway. Sheldon Creed is locked into the next round already, but before we hop into that stuff, we're going to talk about some news. So there's quite a lot of silly season news going around in NASCAR right now in the Cup and Xfinity series. So the big news that came out last weekend is that Kurt Busch will be driving the number 45 car for 23XI Racing for next season. A lot of people, I believe, saw this coming since Ross Chastain signed with Trackhouse Racing. I believe a lot of people saw that Kurt Busch would sign with 23XI, and that's what he did. That was announced last weekend. And the number 45 car, which is Michael Jordan's other number, so that's really cool how they did that coincidentally. NASCAR also confirmed with the video that they posted that the door number will be slid forward a little bit, and the sponsor will be on the side. The car that they showed isn't an actual race car that they're going to be using. It's like a pit car or something like that, because it had like a red interior or something like that, so it's not an official look at what the car will look like next season, but it was good enough for an unveil, I guess, for next season. So they kind of knocked two birds out with one stone with that one, with revealing Kurt Busch's car for next season, where he's going to be racing, and the fact that they added that the front door number will be slid to the side of the car. So that was interesting. Another piece of news is that Noah Gregson is going to stay at Junior Motorsports for next season. Now, Dale Jr. announced on live TV that he'll be willing to run 5 cars next year, but he only has 3 drivers confirmed as of right now. He still needs to confirm Justin Allgaier and Michael Annett, see if they will be coming back next season. But for now, it is Noah Gregson, Josh Berry, and Sam Mayer, the 3 that are already confirmed for next season. So he could run up to 5 cars, he could run 4, so it'll be interesting to see what Dale Jr. decides to do there, but I think that was the right move for Noah Gregson, because there's not really anywhere in the Cup Series for him right now as far as good equipment goes. So I definitely think that was the right decision for him to stay in Xfinity, stay competitive with Junior Motorsports, maybe try to run for a championship this year or maybe even next year when he comes back next season. Another piece of news is Starcom Racing apparently sold their charter, and reportedly Spire was the one that bought that from them. Not too much of big news there, but it definitely happened throughout the week. It's good for Spire Motorsports, though, for them to get another charter. And JTG Darty Racing, it was announced that they are going to drop down to 1 car next season. And that's probably going to look like Ryan Preece is probably going to get the boot there. I would assume that they're going to keep Ricky Stenhouse Jr. in that race car. And a bunch of reports are saying that they are going to stick with Stenhouse. So that's unfortunate for Ryan Preece. Hopefully he can find a good ride next season. And another piece of news is that there's going to be a Daytona Test next week with the next-gen car, the first test with the new chassis. So that'll be interesting. I'm wondering if they're going to televise it or show any clips from it or anything like that, because I know sometimes NASCAR likes to do private tests not really allow the media to enter the racetrack and get pictures of it. So hopefully NASCAR opens that up to the media so they can look at it and give us some pictures, so some videos, all that good stuff of these brand new cars that'll be on track next season. So I'm really excited about that. That was a lot of news. I'm exhausted just from talking about that, and we still got to talk about Darlington. So, Matthew, what are some of these pieces of news that stuck out to you over the past week?
Alright, so let's go in order. First of all, Kurt Busch at 2311. This is such a big deal, and this is a huge win for 2311, not only because you're getting a championship driver, you're getting a driver that's been in the Cup Series for like almost 20 years or something like that. I mean, or actually it's going to be 20 years, but this is going to help that organization grow for the future. As a brand new team this year, they're going to their sophomore year next year, and I feel like they're going to learn a lot, not only from this season, but they're going to learn a lot from Kurt Busch going to this season, because he can make any team he goes in much better. He brought a Phoenix racing car, a second place finish with a broken suspension in Sonoma in 2012. He brought a Furniture Road car that was originally a 20th place car to the playoffs when it was only 12 drivers. There was no winning your in when he brought that car in the playoffs. And he's bringing a Ganassi car, who years past, Jimmy Murray has kind of been average in that car. He's winning in that car every season. Well, maybe one win a year. He can take any car and make that car team so much better. So I have full confidence that Kurt Busch is going to be able to elevate this team, and this is also going to benefit Bubba Wallace as well. He hasn't had a teammate with a lot of experience over the years. Well, the only exception was with Kyle Busch in the Truck Series, in which he won races because he had that I guess that teammate sort of or owner that with a lot of experience. And Roush Fenway, he really just had like Chris Buescher and Ryan Reed, who's not really in the sport anymore. And then Richard Petty, it was just him, basically. So Bubba Wallace is going to finally have that teammate that he needs to help him grow as well. And now the door numbers. We finally got it confirmed. We can finally stop speculating, and we already know the reaction of this whole thing, and we're not going to discuss about it, because I've already explained it a million times why I think it's no big deal. But yeah, they finally confirmed it, and it looks better in the front than it does in the rear when they did it for the All-Star race, so I prefer it that way. I don't really care where it is. Anyways, Noah Gregson going back to Junior Motorsports, great for him. He's kind of had a down year this year, but I feel like this way he can. There's still the playoffs, so he can definitely win. But I feel like next year he could find a way to like revive, basically, trying to get back in that conversation of a championship contender, like they were kind of labeling him last season when he won 2 races. So hopefully Gregson gets that opportunity. Hopefully Gregson, does better next season. As for the lineup, they can probably go 5 cars, but I think Michael and Ned might not come back because of that injury. He's kind of been injury prone over the years, and this injury is starting. I think this injury's really been bothering him. There's the reason why. I just don't see Michael Annett being able to come back next season if he's not going to stay healthy. Because even at Daytona, he was able to race, but I heard he still was having issues. So I just don't know. I'd rather have Sam Mayer than Michael Annett, but Sam Mayer is still very young. I feel like he needs to prove a little bit more. Plus, he doesn't bring in a lot of sponsorship, but hopefully Sam Mayer does well next year, and we'll see if Michael Annett comes back.
So before you move on to the next thing, I just have a quick thing to say about Junior Motorsports and Michael Annett. So I was talking to one of my friends about this, and Michael Annett has been in that one car for a very long time now, and Josh Berry hops in that car in Michigan. He almost goes out and wins that race. So if I was Dale Jr., I would look at that right there and say, okay, I'm sorry, Michael Annett, but you need to go because it's obviously not the car. Because Josh Berry took that exact same car, almost went and won Michigan with it. So I feel like
But
Josh Berry. I mean, he's deserved this ride for a long time, and he finally got it. I'm so happy for him, but like it's not the car, it's the driver, and Josh Berry just proved that he's a very good driver, way better than Michael Annett. So I mean, I feel like that's a sign that Dale Jr. needs to look at, and he needs to veer away from Michael Annett. That's just my opinion, but you can go ahead and continue.
but he always has that sponsorship, and the money talks. I'm sure Junior's gonna want him back for that sponsorship, but we'll see. I just think that injury is gonna really affect his future, basically. So, anyways, well, the Starcom charter being sold. Thank you, whoever bought it. I think Spire Motorsports is reportedly the one that bought it. Thank you, Spire Motorsports. That's one less roadblock to deal with. But I don't know. They're going to basically, dissolve the team. I don't know if they're going part time next year. I don't know if they're going to run the full schedule without a charter. We don't know Starcom's plans, but I mean, I'm sure everybody's happy that they don't have to. That's one less slow car to deal with every weekend. And Spire Motorsports, if that is the team that bought it, I know Corey LaJoy has a charter. I think they gave away one of their charters to a calling for the Cup team next year. So I'm guessing that's going to 77, but I don't know if the 77's going to be like rotating drivers. They're going to put another full-time driver. I mean, it might be possible, but we'll see. But anyways, that's great for Spire because at least Spire, they're trying to be competitive. They state they want to be a contending team one day. So I believe in that, and we'll see how that goes for them next year. And the last news is JTT Daugherty Racing is planning on going to a single car team next year. No one's been confirmed who's going to be in that one ride, but we're assuming that's going to be Stenhouse. And Priest is going to be the one out. And to be honest, I did see this one coming from a mile away. I mean, the signs were there earlier this year when they sold their 37 charter away. So, I think it's going to help, JTT next year. They only have to focus one car, and that's probably a good thing because JTT isn't a bad team. I mean, they can run up there in the top 10 time to time. So, I feel like with this next gen car, if they can just focus on one car, that might help that team a little bit more. They just put all their resources into one car. As for Ryan Preece, I don't know where he's going to go, to be honest. I mean, he might land a cup, one of these bottom tier cup rides. I doubt he wanted to do that, so he might have to go to the Xfinity Series or even the Truck Series. I mean, he just won a truck race in Nashville this year, so he might want to try to do that. But we'll just see what Ryan Preece does, and we'll see how JTT does. And I think that's all the news. Man, that was a lot of news.
Yeah, it was a lot that came out. I'm surprised we got this much news. I guess you could call it late in the season, even though it's just getting into the playoffs. But all this stuff usually comes and goes during the summer, and I guess we're kind of wrapping up that part of the season. Everybody's trying to figure out where they're going. So I'm sure there'll be a little bit more as we go throughout the rest of the year, but it might be all of it. I don't know. We'll see. But that was definitely a lot of news, a lot of silly season stuff, drivers moving around. But now we're going to talk about Darlington. So we have the Xfinity race Saturday, and then we have the truck race on Sunday, and then we have the Cup race after that on Sunday. So they're mixing it up on us a little bit with the schedule here. I don't mind the schedule change. I mean, I don't really care. I mean, I would like it if all three races were run under the lights, but it's alright. At least we get the Cup Series race under the lights on Sunday. So, also about Darlington is that they repaved Turn 2, which is kind of odd that they just repaved Turn 2 instead of the whole racetrack, but I'm wondering if that means that they're going to do a more full repave in the future or soon. Maybe they shouldn't have time to repave the whole track, and that Turn 2 is the part that they needed to do the most, and they just did that. I'm not 100% sure on why they just did Turn 2, but that'll be interesting to see how that comes into play. There will be some big names running in the Xfinity race. Denny Hamlin will be in the Xfinity race. Tyler Reddick and Austin Dillon will all be in the Xfinity race on Saturday, so they'll have a little bit of an advantage going into the Cup race, that they'll know what that new paved part of Turn 2 is going to do for them. But I think all the Cup guys will adapt pretty quick, and all three series drivers should adapt pretty quick to it. But I got 1 point last week, so I finally get to make my Cup picks first. So Matthew, go ahead and give me your truck and Xfinity picks.
Man, it's been a while since I had to be in this end of the picks, but as for the truck series, John Nemechek, he had a struggle last week in the gateway, but I feel like that team is just too good. They're going to rebound back, and I'm sure he's going to get the job done, so I got him. Xfinity series, of course, I'm going to go for Denny Hamlin. I mean, any Cup driver that enters the Xfinity field is automatically going to be a threat, whether it's Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, Christopher Bell, basically any JGR driver driving the 54 car. So I got to go with Denny Hamlin because over the years he's been the best car. I mean, last year he basically choked away the win. And the last couple times he won it but got DQ'd. So as long as they don't go overboard with their setup, and as long as he doesn't choke, I got Denny Hamlin.
Yeah, that's a good pick there. So for me in the truck series, I'm going to go with Sheldon Creed, just because he won Darlington there before, and he's coming off a hot streak. He's running pretty well. Trucks have been pretty fast lately, so Sheldon Creed could start making a move here towards the playoffs and potentially make himself as a threat to John Hunter Nemechek. So I'm going to go with him as my truck pick. And then in the Xfinity series, man, I'm not really sure who to pick, honestly, because there's a few drivers that I feel like could run well here. Man, I don't know. Do I go? I think I'm going to go. Oh, this is so tough. I feel like I'm going to go Justin Allgaier. He won there in the spring. That doesn't mean he'll win there again. I was thinking about going Austin Cindric, but Austin Cindric's been on a little bit of a slump lately. Not that he hasn't had fast cars, just the fact that he momentum isn't on his side right now. So I feel like Justin Allgaier could get the job done in the Xfinity series. So those are my two picks. Now I guess I'll go ahead and hop into my Cup picks as well. It feels so good to get some Cup picks finally. So in the Cup series,
enjoy while you can.
Yeah, I know. Hopefully I can get a point or two off of you and keep the honors system of getting to pick my Cup picks first. But anyway, so for me, for my first pick, I'm going to go with Martin Truex Jr. He ran very well here in the spring, won both stages and the race. Needless to say, that's why he's my first pick. And my second, he also ran well here in the fall last year. Not going to talk about that race, but Martin Truex Jr. did run well here a year ago. My second pick is going to be Kyle Larson, obviously. He ran second to Martin Truex Jr. in the spring, and he's the best, arguably the best driver right now, has the most momentum, has the strongest cars right now, so he's always up front. Got to pick Kyle Larson as my second pick, and my third pick is going to be, in fact, Kyle Busch, which is coincidentally the order that those three finished in the spring. I had Martin Truex Jr. won, Kyle Larson finished second, Kyle Busch finished third, so kind of coincidental that I went with those three picks in that order. But Kyle Busch has been running well as of late too. He's pretty good at Darlington. He was up there in the 2020 spring race. He finished, I believe, second or third to Denny Hamlin when it got rained out. He ran well here in the spring earlier this year as well, so I feel like Kyle Busch could get up there and contend as well. So those are my three picks. Go ahead and tell me yours for the Cup race on Sunday night.
Well, Kyle Busch was technically a third during that spring race last year, but we won't bring that one up. Okay, so my main pick is going to be Chase Elliott. I mean, he's been really good at Darlington the past couple years. Like I said, last year it was up front both times, and it seemed like a JGR car might have caused something for that. But Chase Elliott's gonna be up there, I feel like. So I got him as my main pick. My second pick is gonna be William Byron, because this year he was up there in the top 5 almost the whole race there. I remember he had a really good car. Maybe not as good as Truex, but he was still really good. So I got Byron. And then my third pick is going to be... I'm going with Denny Hamlin because he's also really good at Darlington as well. I mean, he won there last year, even though he got rained out, but he's still really good at Darlington. So I got him as my third pick.
Those are some solid picks. I'm surprised you picked Chase as your main pick. I'm like, now I gotta root for Chase, but also not root for Chase because if he wins, you get.
Well, you
more
told my
points,
driver
but
too.
I did
The
take your
same thing
driver,
goes to
so
me.
I guess we'll be rooting for and against each other this weekend at Darlington. It'll be very exciting. I'm ready to go. Do you have any other closing thoughts before we wrap this episode up?
Hopefully we don't have to talk about the number thing anymore. I'm glad we get that done. I'm glad that's done. I don't have to hear it there anymore. But man, I had to stay on social media that whole week because of all that crying I was heard in the comments. Jeez. But glad that's all done.
Yeah, I'm glad that there were some big announcements in NASCAR this week. I was surprised that they came out with all of that stuff in the same week. There was the Kurt Busch going to 2311 was big as long, and so was the number change. Those were two big announcements combined into one. I'm surprised that they did that, honestly, but that's how they decided to do it. So big stuff this week as far as announcement goes. We got 3 races this weekend as well. Our review video of all the action coming out will be out on Monday, but until then, we will see you guys in the next video.